Sticker Star? More like Dicker Star. Hey, for those of you who don't get the joke, Sticker Star is a bad video game. Did I ever tell you guys about the time I was browsing Twitter on my phone at McDonald's? I was getting very irritated because some wise guy was ratioing me for having the audacity to say that Thousand Year Door is the best game. And that's when my 8-year-old son said, Bino, getting ratio doesn't actually mean you're wrong. Twitter ratios are just an example of argument ad populum and therefore are not necessarily indicative of an objectively correct position. And then everyone in the McDonald's stood up and clapped, and they handed me all of their McMuffins. I have been dreading the day that I eventually review Paper Mario Sticker Star. Not because it's a bad video game, although yes, I'm not a fan, but because discussing Paper Mario now is exhausting. Every conversation is the same, and I'm getting tired of having it. And it can all be traced back to Sticker Star. This is where the rift began. Okay, well, full disclosure, the real reason it took me this long to get around to it is because I've had no way of recording it. Have you ever tried to record an actual 3DS? It's impossible. But 3DS emulators have finally become actually good, so I don't have any excuses left. I think Sticker Star is perhaps the best example of the darker side to innovation, and this is one of the reasons I think it's an important thing to talk about. I don't like to shit on innovation broadly, because it's that same attitude of do something that hasn't been done before that got us just about every single good game we can think of, even if not directly. Innovation allows disabled people to beat Dark Souls, okay? Innovation cures cancer. It gave us Twitter and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. Wait, sometimes it feels like we're at an all-time low with video game creativity and that we're just seeing the same thing but bigger and more expensive. So when you think about innovation in the context of that, it seems like a good thing, which is why I hate it when they use it on something that doesn't need it. Turning Kirby into a 3D platformer is great because Kirby had been a 2D platformer for 3 decades. But on the other hand, when you only get 2 classic-style Paper Mario games, you can't help but want more. But that's tough shit. Tough ass even. But before I start tearing this game's 7 new penis holes, I do have some nice things to say. Mostly to the music. I do have to be honest that the whole jazz music thing that all the Mario games have now is kinda starting to wear on me, but at least some of the songs are good. The battle theme in this game is one of the most addicting songs I've heard in a video game in a long time. The graphics are pretty and colorful, the game is full of quirky dialogue, I think there actually is a dick joke in there. There's a toad that charges you 200 coins for a poison shroom. Fucking bastard. You got some funny visual gags, the slap hammer goes like... The world is interactive with hidden details and some occasionally interesting puzzle solving. You can hammer the ground to flip things over. There's a trash heap with a bunch of funny Easter eggs in it, including some discarded research notes by Goombella from Thousand Year Door. Hey boys, don't you think that's a little on the nose? I mean, this is the one connection this game has to the classic titles and you put it in the actual garbage. I mean, have you no shame, Nintendo? Or Insys? Whoever decided this was a good idea. Now these are good things, and theoretically they could add up to a great game, but hold it right there, Nintendo and Insys, because I am placing you under arrest, because I am Officer Bino, and that's what I do. Now boys, before I run you downtown, remember all those other Paper Marios with funny dialogue and visual gags and awesome music? The praise I keep seeing for the newer games typically goes towards the dialogue and the humor and the music, which are all entirely defensible and valid praises. Except that you could say all of that same stuff about the older games as well. Somehow my sense of this is that they wanted to make up for the lack of an ambitious narrative by hamming up the humor and whatnot, except that the older games already had all that stuff on top of being more consistent experiences with plots that were off the walls, so this really can't help but feel less like going in a different direction and more like just deleting good stuff and hoping nobody notices. Now let's talk about the battle system. The way it works is that you find stickers hiding all over the place and you place them in your sticker book. The stickers are your attacks, and once you use one, it's gone. You don't get experience and you don't level up, but you can sometimes get sticker drops from enemies, or more likely, you'll get money which you can use to buy stickers. The problem with this is that there's often no incentive to fight enemies except to get coins to buy your attacks back, except you wouldn't need to buy the shit back if you didn't get into a fight in the first place. So the battle system is often self-defeating in that way. Not to mention the worlds are full of stickers just lying around anyway, so you're rarely in danger of running out. It often gets to the point where you just end up walking around the enemies and avoiding them so you can hoard stickers for the unavoidable boss fights. I guess one advantage to fighting them is that the coins can be used for the spinny slot machine crap to get an extra turn during a hard fight. From what I can tell, you get a ton of coins at the end of a level if you beat a lot of enemies, and not as many if you don't fight as much. That's really the only reason to battle otherwise, is to hoard an insane amount of coins, but you don't usually need to do that too much until the final boss, which has 38 phases. I'd put a spoiler warning in front of that, but I mean, it's Paper Mario, what'd you expect? Then there's the action commands. Unlike the older games where they actually show you when to press which buttons and in what order, Sticker Star decided instead to give you this glowy thing and go, oh yeah, just press A when it gets big, but not when it gets too big, because that'll ruin everything. A lot of the big ass thing stickers have action commands as well, judging from what I've seen, but their animations are so long and cutscene-like that I didn't even realize it until I looked it up. The one exception I found was this badass water gun where it turns into an FPS because I was already mashing A to shoot anyway. This thing is awesome. Bosses have weaknesses that you can exploit by using the right thing sticker at the right time, but it's often not entirely intuitive, and with all the different attack phases and all the different things stickers you can use, the amount of experimentation that it takes to figure it out on your own means that it would usually be less efficient than just wearing the bastard down without it. It's definitely frustrating, but I guess it's better than Color Splash, which literally doesn't let you beat the boss at all unless you happen to have the special item. But that's the thing with these new Paper Mario games. They're trying to be clever and unique by doing something different than the old games, except in every single attempt so far, without fail, the new systems have always been designed to render themselves either void or just tedious and unintuitive. And as a side note, I'm not including Super Paper Mario in that. That game is a platformer, it's beautiful, it's perfect, and it is therefore exempt from criticism. If every little enemy is going to take half a minute to defeat and valuable resources that could be better used on a big boy, when I can usually just walk around and avoid them, why would I ever choose to fight them? Well, until you need to load up on big hammers and slot machine coins for the final boss, you don't really need to go out of your way to fight anybody. The thing stickers are often used as key items in your journey. Basically, you find things, which are literally just things, and you talk to this guy to turn them into stickers. You need to have thing stickers while exploring because at certain areas they are required for solving puzzles to progress. The downside of requiring you to turn things into stickers to use them in this context is that they impede on your inventory space instead of having their own separate space. And on top of that, it's not enough to have enough physical room in your inventory. If you sort the stickers and the space isn't in a perfect square shape to accommodate a big sticker, you might have to throw away a sticker and resort it. This is a ridiculous system, and I am convinced that not a single person on the dev team thought to polish it in between the drawing board phase and the actual execution phase. Having quest items and consumables share the same finite inventory space is very annoying, and the inventory management is a pain in the ass when it's at its worst. I think they were trying to mitigate this by keeping the physical things in a separate space before you get them turned into stickers, except since you can only turn them into stickers by going here, you could get halfway through a level and realize you can't get past it without the right thing sticker, even if you have the physical thing on you. So now you had to leave and get it stickered up and then come back. It might sound like a minor thing, except this will start happening a lot in the back half of the game, which is funny to me because I remember people saying Thousand Year Door had too much backtracking. What the hell is this shit then, huh? It also sucks ass when you think you found a solution to a puzzle and you place the thing sticker there and it does nothing. These moments just knock the wind out of the game completely because not only do you have to figure out what the right sticker is, but now you have to go out of the level and get it stickerified for you. Not to mention you just wasted a key item and you might have to go and get it back for an entirely different puzzle. And it's not always intuitive either. Take this trash heap where you're supposed to use a thing card in the middle of it to clear it out. What do you use? A vacuum perhaps? Well, no. You gotta use, and I'm not kidding, you gotta use a goat. Seriously. Is that a colloquial thing? Do goats eat trash and I just didn't know about it? Well, whatever. Since you have to go so far out of your way to get the thing stickers back, it kinda discourages the player from experimenting and just trying things out, because it really slows things down if you make a mistake. This type of design is just downright goofy. And the game also has these other smaller areas that are just not very well thought out either. Like how getting swallowed by quicksand is an insta-kill, even though I had to go down quicksand 3 seconds ago to find the secret thing. I don't get it, man. Is the punishment proportionate to the mistake? The paperize mode can be pretty fun when you're not just using the finite thing stickers. There are a lot of clever puzzle solving moments, like swapping this wall with this wall so that you can walk through the door on this wall to enter a greenhouse, putting this block in front of a shy guy on a minecart so he runs into it and fucking dies. If the paperize mode was literally just swapping scraps around instead of also being the thing sticker thing, the game would honestly be a whole 6% better, because it usually doesn't force you into a billion years of backtracking and exhausting trial and error. But sometimes it can be hard to tell what the rules are, like how sometimes you can move around in the background and pull things out, and sometimes you just can't do shit. It's supposed to be context sensitive, I think, but what ends up happening is that when it doesn't work the way I expect it to, I'm often wondering if I'm doing the wrong thing or if I'm doing the right thing but in a slightly wrong way. And that shit just drives me up the wall. The combat can be fun occasionally, and the game has a surprisingly rewarding sense of exploration where permanent health upgrades are hidden here and there, and you can find more powerful attack stickers if you know where to look. The sticker museum is a fun little collectible thing that you can fill out, so there is some good to be taken with the bad. Purely from the standpoint of gameplay, I can definitely think of a bunch of games that are less fun than Sticker Star, like Color Splash, but where this game really decides to jump off a cliff is the characters and the writing. We don't get crazy alternative worlds with rich lore populated with funky new species and races and citizens with batshit crazy plot twists, but instead a Paper Mario superimposed on what is effectively new Super Mario Bros. The story is this: the sticker festival is going on, but then Bowser steals the ultimate sticker, so you team up with a sticker to go get the stickers to restore the power of the royal stickers. Half the time I forget any of that stuff even happened because there isn't any drama, there's nothing to lose, there's nothing to fight for, there are no stakes, there's no escalation. The story just stays at the exact same energy level for the entire runtime of the game and does nothing to step it up, and once it's over, you immediately forget that it happened. You want to know what the first boss of this game is? It's a squad of Goombas, like literally just straight up Goombas, not even a big Goomba with a cool mustache or anything like that. The second boss, it's just a Pokey, like a big Pokey. The coolest boss was this big icy Bowser statue that's actually being controlled by a tiny little snowman. That was pretty funny. The rest though is just a bunch of greasy ass day-old mortadella. 95% of the NPCs in this game are toads. They don't even have funky outfits or anything. The most unique one I saw was wearing a bathrobe. It is worth noting that according to the developers, the idea was to have the toads' personality come out in their dialogue to compensate the fact that they can't really make original characters anymore. But even within the confines of the mainline Mario universe, there are more NPCs you could have used than toads, right? Instead, toads are the good guys and everyone else is a bad guy. You know, the devs wanted us to believe that King Ollie was racist, but I think maybe the new Paper Mario games themselves were the real racists the whole time. I mean, think about this for a second. It used to be that we had this diverse cast of all these different kinds of people in Paper Mario games, but then all those unique races were driven out of the series while the toads remained and thrived. Then they turn around and act like it's somehow prejudiced to wonder where they all went and why literally everyone is a toad now. I think we gotta ask these toads a couple of questions, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not racist, I'm not racist, okay? No, I'm not racist, I have toad friends, it's not like that. I'm not, don't get it twisted. Racism is terrible, awful. I'm not racist. But I'm just asking questions. Much like Color Splash, Sticker Star is a walking contradiction where it's experimental and funky while at the same time often heavily sanitized and inoffensive. Setting my vendetta aside, if you have the patience for some stupid shit and you have little to no connection to the original trilogy, as we'll call it, you'll probably enjoy this game. It's a little bit different and quirky, and it'll probably make you smile a couple of times, and it is, in a few ways, more polished than Color Splash, which came out years later. But at the end of the day, this will go down in history as the game where Paper Mario was kidnapped and locked in somebody's basement and subsequently replaced by an alcoholic who talks to office supplies. And really, that's why there is such a grotesque amount of hate for this game. If you evaluate it in a vacuum, it's mediocre and frustrating at worst and okay-ish at best, at least I think. But in the context of the greater Paper Mario series, it represents the downfall. Well, Origami King is alright.